guys, Sean here. Welcome back to another vlog. Welcome back to my apartment. Everything's good, no problems, no drama. I just wanted to record something. I didn't want to put this and record it out in public. So this is going to be, you know, it's a topic that has been coming up lately, and I'm just addressing it. So, pulling the Band-Aid off, so to speak. But this is one of the Cambodia Cokes. They are available here in Siem. Very happy. They also came out with a Cambodian dark beer. I haven't seen it here. Alan and Dean found it in Kampot. They weren't fans of it, but I don't know if they're as fans of dark beer as I am. So if I see it, I'll grab it. But I also have a coffee because it's how I roll. Instant coffee, no big deal. So you're probably wondering why I invited you all here today. So I've been getting a rash of questions lately about, that was weird. Oh, that was I thought I just saw the lights flicker. I've been getting a rash of comments lately regarding sex trade. I'll put it there. Girly bars, that kind of stuff. And for those of you, that don't really care to get involved in everything else, just so you're aware, I have no intentions of showcasing it or anything. So that's never going to appear on my channel, ever. So if you are one of those people that's like, think that you can poke at a guy until he goes there, it ain't going to happen. I'm pretty stuck in my ways when it comes to this. So first things first, I absolutely believe 100% that it is a person's choice to do with their body as they choose. And that's male or female. And in this case, these workers are both. I don't have any issues with it. None at all. What I do have issue with is folks coming onto a channel like mine where I showcase Cambodia and where I travel. And I like to showcase food and adventures and going on things that I find very beautiful and natural and amazing. I fully understand that there is a part of the world, and I'm not saying it's just Southeast Asia, it's everywhere, that, there is an industry for. And I don't want to have anything to do with it at all. I grew out of going to strip clubs when I was younger, don't care. I've known people that worked in those industries, I don't care, People are going to be people regardless. And, you do what you can to make money. And I understand the draw of it here because it's easy to make money. There's a demand for it. But again, it's illegal here, 100%. So at no point would I think that it's going to be something I will ever showcase here on my channel. There's just no need for it. Zero. If that is your thing, go for it. Go find channels that will do it. Go and, come to Cambodia or come to wherever you're going to go and look for it yourself. I'm not going to hold your fucking hand. Jesus Christ. And as a guy, I kind of get it too. I mean, you get middle-aged and, the hair thins out, the belly widens. And if you haven't learned to masturbate on a regular basis, your testosterone levels drop. So things falter and change. And then all of a sudden your bravado and, you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't find yourself attractive. But, oh, you know what? I heard that, there is this in these other countries. And I'm going to find my true love, and I'm just going to do it the stupid way. Fine, go for it. I don't care. Not my thing. And again, I'm not saying that, you can't come to Cambodia and find true love. I have friends that have found their partners here, and they've been together for years and ecstatic and happy. So it's just like anywhere else. You can find your love anywhere. You just have to put yourself out and take a chance and stuff. I mean, it shouldn't be rocket science for anybody. We've all had to deal with, finding a person attractive and saying, hey, would you like to go and hang out? Would you like to do something? It's fine. But as for, that other side of things, you're not going to see it here. You won't see it on my channel. I skirt the streets whenever they're around. I don't showcase any of it. Again, it's not saying that it doesn't exist. It absolutely does, but I don't care. I really don't care. And I tend to not go out late at night because of the fact that there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on. And as annoying as it is to deal with, the constant nagging of tuk-tuks and stuff, having, people come and approach you when you're walking down the street, it's a little bit annoying too. So, I just don't go near it all. It's easy. It's not, but again, I had the same problem when I was living in like Toronto or Montreal or Chicago or New York City or at LA, fucking West Palm Beach. It was everywhere, And so, I learned just to stay the fuck away from it all. It's simple. That's it. I just wanted to talk about that real quickly because, like I said, I've been getting a rash of it lately. It's not just one person, it's a bunch. I've had to delete some of the comments because, wow, the comments were wrong. And I'm like, I just don't want it on my channel. And here's the other side of it too. I love being in Cambodia. I love Cambodia. I think it's a wonderful country. I think it's amazing. There's nothing I'm going to ever do to detract from the beauty of it here. Just because something exists doesn't mean that it's everywhere, that it's in your face, that it's, that it's a going concern. Like, it's literally a few little areas to go to. You just stay away from it. It's not fucking hard. It's like any other city. So I won't do it, And the other part of it too is like, there is a thing called face. If you don't understand what it is, look it up. It is an Asian thing. It's just basically to say that if you say something detrimental or derogatory that affects the livelihood of somebody else, you can be held responsible for that. And the ramifications would be what they are. I understand that this exists, and so I do my absolute best to not get involved in it. When people say, oh, you're just so happy all the time that and I genuinely am. I love it here. But there's been the odd occasion where I've had a less than stellar, meal or just interaction or something has happened. And I'm like, okay, just scrapping the video. It's not the end of the world for me, And the other thing is too, I go to a restaurant, I get a bad meal. That could be just an off day. There's no way I'm going to put my opinion of something out there and let it affect somebody in a negative way. If I go out and I enjoy something, I honestly say that I enjoy something, and that's what I put forth. I honestly enjoy, 99.9% of the meals I've had here. I've had two whole meals that didn't fit, that didn't work. And you know what I did? I gave it a week, went back to both of those places, and had a great meal. So it was just a one-off, and I'm not going to ever be detrimental to anybody because of the fact that I had a bad meal. I could have been off. It could have just been my taste buds were in the wrong place. I could have had a cold coming up, and that could have affected anything. I could have just had an interaction with somebody before I went in there, and it just soured me for whatever reason. So again, I'm not going to ever belittle or degrade from anybody for my own opinions. And that goes for those establishments as well. They exist, they're there, but that's fine. I don't have to go. It's that simple. So that's it. That's all I want to talk about, And I hate that I have to do this because I would have thought that by now people would understand who I am, that, my moral compass is set in a certain way. You may hear me say vulgar things around my friends, but, whoa, well, doesn't mean that I'm doing anything illicit or anything. But I'm going to say something else because I go to a lot of movies. And this is coming back down to opinions and how you perceive things differently. So I see movies from all over Southeast Asia and also the West. But I love the horror movies that are from here. And that's 99% of the movies you see in the theaters here are horror. They love their horror. And there's a thing too, is like, what we know about spirits and ghosts and all that, what we have from the West is completely different here. Whereas, if you say that you saw a ghost back home, people think, oh yeah, you're fucking nuts. Here, okay, what was it like? And we have a discussion about it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's from this or this. And I'm like, wait, you guys just talk about this? And they're like, yeah, this is how it is here. I'm like, oh, okay. And here's the other side of it too. I've been around like haunted places and get the heebie-jeebies and the back home. I guess, sensitive to things. And here, I thought with everything that happened, I would be, super sensitive stuff. And I haven't gotten one heebie-jeebie here at all, which that in itself is like, I thought, am I broken? So anyway, I see a lot of horror movies. And because they're coming from different parts of Southeast Asia, so if they're coming from, like Indonesia or Malaysia, they can have like a Muslim influence for them because, again, religion has a lot to do with horror. It's just how it is. It's just, part and parcel. A lot of the ones that come out of Cambodia or Thailand have Buddhist tones and, themes. I've seen out of Vietnam kind of a mixture of Catholicism and Buddhism, because that's, again, it's part of their culture. But I went today and I saw a movie out of the Philippines, and they have a very large Catholic background. And so I've seen over the course of the last few weeks, I don't know, like a handful of movies that were all different ideas. And I've addressed the fact that the ones that I see coming out of Malaysia and Indonesia just don't get. And I think that that's because of the religious tones that they have, because I don't understand it. Being in Cambodia, I'm understanding a bit more about the Buddhist philosophies and all that. And so I'm more in tune now with that. So when I see those come across on the movies, I have an understanding for it. And again, like today, the one from the Philippines, they're talking about Lilith. So, the name I understand. I've been to Lilith Fair, So I was not lost or confused at any point in the movie today. And I was talking with the gentleman when I was leaving, and he was confused by it. And I was like, that's it. Because, again, he's from Cambodia, large percentage here are Buddhist. So Catholic overtones and that would be hard to grasp, especially with the translation. And that's another thing too, is like I'm reading a subtitle. So a lot of times that's just wonky and weird, depending on the language it's coming from. So like some things get lost in translation. But at no point do I not want to go to see these movies, because I learned something out of each one, paying $1. So, I'm getting entertained no matter what. But yeah, it's interesting to me is like, again, your opinions and just your belief systems can alter your perceptions on something. Like two people can sit next to each other in a movie theater. One person has a Buddhist background, one person has a Catholic background, and they watch a Catholic movie with like a horror movie with Catholic tones, and they get something completely different out of it, each person. And I think that is when you have to have that dialogue and that discussion after the fact of like, why did you like it? Why didn't you like it? And to have that sounding board and to have that communication, because it's one thing I'm noticing now is that we are in the West. I'm not saying here. And I noticed it before I left Canada, is that we were losing our ability to debate and to have a discussion. That it became divisive on a lot of things. Like it's yes or no, black and white, and my opinion is more important than your opinion. And it was across the board on a whole bunch of things. And, it's been seeping into what I was noticing for the past decade. And it became apparent, very much apparent during the pandemic. That was very divisive. The people that were, anti-mask versus anti-vaccine, like there was like all these different camps and everyone was right. And we lost our ability to debate and discuss. And you learn so much more when you have people of opposing viewpoints that can sit and have a conversation. And that conversation can open your eyes, open your ears, and change your perceptions on like, oh, maybe I'm seeing this a little bit wrong. Maybe maybe I should look at it a little bit differently. That old adage of, to understand somebody, you got to walk a mile in their shoes. That's something that I'm trying to do more and more of. But what I will not try to understand is people that are coming here for the sex trade. That's just not going to happen for me. Yeah. And if that's your thing, you've got your kink, by all means, enjoy it. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from anything that they enjoy. As long as it's not harming other people, I don't care. But just don't ask me to be partaking in any of it, because I won't. I am who I am. I am sure, I'm a weird man that used to have mohawks, and I, listen to weird music, and I have some very funky, weird ideas when it comes to UFOs and ghosts and all that kind of stuff. That's me. That's who I am. That's fine. I'm not expecting anybody else to, toe the line with me and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. I remember UFOs, because my whole life I've been told that I've been crazy for believing in UFOs. Even when I saw one with my grandmother, and we talked about it openly in our family, and our family's all in agreement that it happened. Heaven forbid you mention it to anybody else. Cuckoo! But anyway, I know I probably lost a few people in this one, and that's okay. You can't win everything, but something I thought I needed to say. Like I said earlier, I fully support anybody that wants to work in an industry, wants to make money, has to have a hustle. I get it. I may not like the tuk-tuk drivers that berate me all the time, but I understand their hustle and the need for doing what they're doing. I'm not taking away from it. I just don't enjoy it. And that's the same thing. I don't care. Everyone's got their things that they like. I'm sure that there's not a lot of other 57-year-old guys that have an enjoyable evening by drinking a cup of coffee and playing video games until the wee hours of the morning. That's my thing. That's what I like. Anyway, hope you guys don't mind. Hope you maybe enjoyed this one. A little bit of a ramble. If you like the content, please feel free, like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, if you are still here, you're so inclined, I will post a link to another video over here. I promise you, it's not always going to be like this. This is kind of a one-off. I do ranty kind of things every 5 or 6 months, so, when you see them, just dip. See you guys soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.